It's a bear. Good morning. Hey, what's up? Or should I say good afternoon? What's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in the always lovely and beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. I got the live LBTS camera up here. It's on the south side of the pier. If you look north, there's West Palm Beach, and this way is Miami. And we're kind of like right in the middle of them. Little bit windy out there. I can see a few surfers out there. Not the kind of day I would typically go on. As younger guys like days like this, a little bit angry seas, a little real windy and tightly spaced waves. I like a little cleaner conditions. But again, this is not a surf report. I wish it was sometimes. Well, let's take a look and see what's going on in precious metal prices. While I'm doing that as well, I want to show you a couple memes I'm going to put up here this morning. And the saying for the day, my theme for the day is "Mama says stupid is as stupid does." And man, we can point that out all around us everywhere we look. Let me give you a few memes here I want to point up too that kind of explain exactly what we got going on out here. Unfortunately, as you noticed, we've started a new Cold War. I think it started a while back ago when they accused the Russians of meddling in the election and stuff, but it's just gotten worse and worse, and all for political purposes. Is really why I've been on a rant for the last couple days, is that it's just done sheerly for political purposes. They created a whole new Cold War, folks, over politics, over them not being in office or wanting to be in office or wanting someone else out of office. I don't want to get into details, but this has just been a big, massive failure, and it's really a shame. And who's complicit with this? Well, corporate media for sure. If there's one thing I learned is social media and corporate media, folks, they're evil, they're bad. Corporate media, the best thing I ever did was in 2008, I turned off Fox, CNN, MSNBC, NBC. I turned off all the corporate news, and I've been smarter and better because of it. And trust me, the smartest thing you can do is turn that television off. Stop watching these corporate talking news heads, CNN, MSNBC, just Fox. Just stop watching them. Trust me, folks, they're doing you no good. It's all misinformation, propaganda, and bullshit. With that said, little Susie, just like that, cured the worst critter of all. There you go. There's my opinion. All right, let's take a look at spot prices here and kind of do a little refresh. Kind of what we expected. We saw it shoot up to that 1870 range, and silver is actually doing quite well right now. It's kind of moving back up to that 1870 range, the high we saw. Silver, not so much. We almost saw $24 the other day. But as I said, I believe gold will drag up the price of silver, and I think that's exactly what we're seeing right now, is gold has been and is pulling up the price of silver and keeping silver where it's at right now. Let's take a look at the low 1851, the high of 1866 on gold, currently sitting at 1865. Silver, a low of 23.30. We saw it kind of bumping down into the low 23s yesterday after the news came out that we weren't going to have a massive war going on in Ukraine and Russia, which I knew, you knew, most of us knew, except for the people that watch corporate TV. They were all fooled, but we knew it was going to happen. We also knew that gold and silver would back off, not because of a lack of a war, just because that's when these big manipulators go in and hammer the prices. It's during news cycles, folks. It's when, I've said this for the longest time, you'll see gold and silver get monkey hammered during news cycles, big news cycles that will have an effect on the economy. So when are those news cycles? It's whenever Powell speaks. Definitely when Powell speaks, for sure. When he talks about raising rates or doing whatever they're going to do, that's when they manipulate the rates. They manipulate the rate. They manipulate the price of gold and silver on news cycles like this with a potential war. Price shot back up, and as soon as they knew that there wasn't going to be a war, what'd they do? They monkey hammer the prices down again. That's what we saw yesterday. It's just prices getting monkey hammered down. Same old shit, different day. 23.30 the low on silver, 23.59 the high, and we're currently sitting at 23.53. So will we see that $24 range this week? I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Sprott had an interesting article we're going to get into a little bit that talks about a different type of manipulation that we've been seeing. And let's take a look at platinum right now. Low of 1,022, the high of 1,059. We're currently sitting at 1,059 right now. And Boy, that's kind of been all over the place too, low thousands to the mid-range. But again, great buy in my opinion. I feel that we're going to look back at all these prices one day. I don't feel that, I know that. We're going to look back at $1,865 gold and $23.50 silver and $1,059. We're all going to tell each other or say to each other at some point, God, remember when silver was below 30 bucks an ounce and gold was below 2,000? Have no doubt, folks, you'll be saying that without a doubt. In the same way that you're saying, remember when gold was 1,000, remember when gold was 500, remember when silver was $5 an ounce and $10 an ounce and 15. You'll be saying the same thing about this $20 and $25 range in silver. In the $30 range, you'll say, I remember when. Mark my words. It'll happen here. It just can't happen soon enough for a lot of us. And I get that. But one thing you do have to have with gold and silver is patience. This is about wealth preservation. And we do get into bubbles occasionally, and that's what we're kind of hoping for, a bubble in gold and silver. So we can cash out, wait for the bubble to burst, buy back in, and maybe buy some other assets as well. Let's take a look at, that's my plan at least. Let's take a look at the overnight charts here and see where we've got the action going on. Yesterday, you can see the monkey hammering in gold occurred during the Globex Crimex markets owned by CME. And God, look at that right there. Who the hell does these kind of trades in the evening on weekly traded markets? And nobody does. The only intent of this was to drive the price of gold down yesterday. And it was based on the news that was coming out. No war. Okay, there you go. Let's bang it. Same thing with silver. Take a look at when silver got slammed yesterday. About the same time in the evening. Again, as soon as the news came out, they figured that was a great time to slam the price of silver, again, on a news cycle. And why do they slam these prices? Well, it's to decrease the confidence that a lot of new people have in gold and silver, and I'm sure it's to wash out the weak hands out there, the people that don't understand these markets. There's no doubt in my mind that's the only reason they do it. Let's take a look at today's prices, and as you can see, we've kind of steadied out here with the green line, and we're moving back up towards that 1870 range where we were. Folks, as I said, I think gold is the real player right here, and as gold moves up, silver will follow it, okay? If gold makes some big dramatic moves up, whether it's a news cycle or whatever it may be, something happens in the news, another war, another threat of war, or more propaganda bullshit, gold jumps up dramatically, you'll see silver follow it unless it kind of backs off and gold backs off again. But meanwhile, man, keep stacking. That's just my opinion. Keep buying these dips when you have the opportunity. Again, just my opinion if you're not bought in already. Same thing with silver. Take a look today, kind of steadied out. We're kind of moving upward, but not quite that upward trend that we're seeing with gold this morning. And if you take a look there, you can see there you go. A little more movement there. Silver is a far more monkey hammered market. Again, where's it monkey hammered? It's monkey hammered on the COMEX markets. Globex overnight markets are usually done because they're thinly traded and they can really knock the shit out of it there. And then oftentimes in the New York market, it has been in the mornings here. But we're really not seeing that today. We're kind of seeing some sideways markets here. But no less, good buying opportunity in my opinion. Let's take a look at equity markets. What's happening there? Are they bleeding out yet? Nah, yeah, they are slow bleeding. And that's exactly what I think the intent is with the equities markets. I believe that the presidential working group or the plunge protection team has been going in there and preventing the patient, which is the equities markets, from completely hemorrhaging, because they should have already by now. They started to it 3 or 4 weeks ago when we had that 1,100 point swing from down to up. Again, I believe that's when the PPT came in and propped up those markets. And what's my feeling on this? I think that if they learned anything, government and the bankers learned anything, they learned that in 2008 that the bubble just collapsed all at once, which was very difficult for them to do anything about. I believe that they're propping up this market right here and letting it slowly deflate. So what does that mean? I think that just means we're going to have a zombie economy for quite some time, especially in the equities markets. This could just drag on forever. Where is the low, though, in the Dow? Hey, if you got some ideas where you think the S&P and Dow and NASDAQ, what lows are going to hit, what numbers, you think the NASDAQ's going to go from 13.9 to 10? Do you think the Dow Jones is going to go 34 down to 17 or 20? What's your opinion? Put it in the comments down below. I'd sure like to hear it. And besides your opinion, tell me why you think that might happen as well. Let's take a look at what's going on out here. Hey, what is my expertise? I've been doing this since 1977. Full time, I am a precious metal dealer and a rare coin dealer and rare paper money and other stuff as well. But my real expertise and my is really in the physical markets, buying and selling gold and silver bars from wholesale and retail. This is where I have a distinct advantage over most of the talking heads out there on YouTube land that talk about gold and silver, is that I know product really well, and I know what the best deals are, and I'm going to tell you what the best deals are out there. So again, one advantage of watching my videos versus the other people is I know this stuff very, very well as far as product goes. Best deals out there, though, you're going to get bored of this after a while, because it's still, the best deals out there are not gold eagles. The best deals out there are not gold maple leafs. It is still 1 ounce gold bars, the Valcombis, Perths, Rand bars, any of the industry recognizable 1 ounce gold bars. Here's a couple down here, are the best way to buy gold right now. Get it? Bar none. Gold, 1 ounce. Here, let me put 1 ounce bars. Let's show you a picture of those. Again, maples and other products are too expensive, folks. Anybody has to debate with me why there's an advantage to buying gold maples or gold eagles. There is none. There is none, period. The price is just too high, folks. Love the product, it just don't like the premium. These are the kind of products you should be buying right now. Again, if you can pick up coins for another $5 per ounce more than a bar, why not? But once you get into $10, $15, $20, and $30 more, it's not worth it. It's not worth it, in my opinion. Why pay the big premium? So you got Swiss credits out there, you got Canadians, you got, again, your local dealer should be able to point you in the right direction what the best deal is, but you should be able to buy most of this for spot plus $75 or less. Should be what 1 ounce gold bars are going to run you. And the next best deal above that is probably going to be, probably Krugerrands are still a good deal, but they're still in that $85 or $90 range, $10 or $15 more per coin than bars. And again, gold eagles are just out of the question. They're well over $100, probably 110 to 120 from online sellers like APMEX, JM, and SD, I suspect. And don't forget, I'm a local dealer. I can beat APMEX, JM, and SD. So should your local dealer. So if you, again, I'm recommending that you don't buy online, not because those companies are bad, but keep that money in your town, keep that money in your city. It does a lot more good in your community than it does being shipped out of state. And your local dealer should be as competitive as I am, and I'm competitive enough to beat APMEX, JM, and SD bullion. What about silver? Let's take a look at silver. What's the best deals in silver? Used to love 90% was one of the best deals out there, but don't ask me why. 90% premiums are just absolutely lunatic. Crazy. Maybe that's because I was promoting 90 as the cheapest way to buy it, and it finally caught on. Back when everyone was pushing silver eagles a year or two, year and a half ago, or less, everyone was pushing silver eagles. All the YouTube talking heads pushing silver eagles just about, and the higher priced products. And I was pushing 90 because you could buy 90 for less than half of what you were paying for the premiums on the other stuff. So 90 was a great deal, but then all of a sudden 90 got popular. It's not a great deal anymore, folks. Some of you remember back when I was telling you how to trade 90%, how to trade your silver eagles and buy more silver in 90%. Remember that trade I told you about 7 months ago or a year ago? Some of you made some good money on that, doing that trade, or actually ended up with more silver. But not anymore. Again, prices of 90% are just crazy. Silver eagles are ludicrous. I don't know why anybody in their right mind would buy a silver eagle other than just to have one, or they think they're pretty or give it as a gift. As an investment, they're ridiculous. $8.50, $9.50, and that's my price, and I'm still $1 cheaper than APMEX, SD, and JM. $8.50, $9.50 over spot. That's ridiculous, man. There's no good reason to pay that. That premium is what, 25 or 30%? I mean, even the generic 1 ounce bars, which I'm recommending, the premiums on these, as a customer pointed out the other day, are ridiculous as well, but still. 15% premium is a hell of a lot better than 30 and some ridiculous prices that they get for silver maples and silver eagles. Best bet out there, 100 ounce bars, 1 ounce bars, and 10 ounce bars. You should be able to pick any of those three type of bars up in a recognizable form from one of the recognizable companies for spot plus 350 or less. I mean, 100 ounce bars should be running you closer to the spot plus 3.25 and spot plus $3 over. And we got them, folks, and like I said, I can beat the pants off of APMEX, JM, and SD bullion, and your local dealer should be as well. And if he doesn't, travel a little bit, find another local dealer, find someone that will work with you. Keep that money in your community, folks. I can't stress that enough. What else do we got going on here? Sprott money. I'm gonna take a sip of coffee here real quick, and let me talk about Sprott money. Hang on one second. Sprott, for the longest time, never talked about manipulation. I kind of like this article. It's done by Craig Hemke. They're spotting some patterns. They're starting to look. They're looking at patterns of manipulation out there. What I'd like to see Hemke say is because, again, Sprott has a large following out there. What I would love to see Sprott get to gather a bunch of people, or maybe help gather a bunch of people and start doing some concentrated lobbying with the CME and with the CFTC, and start lobbying some legislators about the manipulation of price of gold and silver. They have the ability to do it. They have the money to do it. Sprott has the money to do it. They have the resources, and they have enough watchers and viewers to do it. So I'd like to see them kind of instigate something. I tried to get something going on the Wall Street Silver Group. Try to get the moderators to start maybe lobbying. We need to start lobbying, folks. We can't just complain to each other and do videos to each other and do videos to or write, and just keep talking. It's like preaching to the choir, what I'm doing right now. We need to go out and we need to make our voices heard. Now, I don't know how we all get together to do this, but we all need to get together. Sprott and everyone. Sprott seems like they have the ability to create a lobbying group online and start calling legislators and start calling the CFTC and start calling the CMA on a daily basis and start letting them know that we're sick of this stuff. All right? This is what really needs to happen, but I digress. Let me read this article by Sprott real quick. A little technical here. Some of you may get a little confused. Technical for me as well. You may recall that we caught an interesting new wrinkle in the COMEX gold trade last year and again last month, and now we're seeing the same thing in COMEX silver. Okay, so we first wrote about this back in November. Remember, the TF Metals report had noticed an unusual surge in trade at settlement activity in COMEX gold just before December 21 contract expirations below. And below is a link to that post right here. Trading at settlement for COMEX gold and futures. And they put this in here to explain what that means. Trading at settlement, TAS, transactions allow traders to enter an order to buy or sell an eligible gold or silver futures contract during the trading day with the price of the trade executed at the current day's settlement price or at any valid price increment up to 10 ticks higher or lower than the current day's settlement price. So how did this play out? Sprott asks. Ahead of December 22nd, expirations at the end of November, the period between 5th and 11th saw TSA volume in the COMEX gold surge from the usual norm value of 2,000 to 3,000 contracts, folks. Now listen to this. A normal 2,000 to 3,000 per day up to an excess of 30,000 contracts. So it went from 2,000 to 3,000 contracts a day to 30,000 contracts a day, folks. In fact, just those 5 trading days of November 5th through 11th saw a total of 172,254 contracts traded this way before daily TAS volume receded back to normal, which would be the 2,000 to 3,000 contracts. And they kind of put the numbers out here. The current theory is that these end-of-the-day trades were likely placed as spreads, which were then legged out for maximum price impact ahead of the December 21st option and contract expirations in late November. Simply to monkey hammer the prices downward, folks. So having noticed these shenanigans in late November, we were at the lookout for the same type of stuff in late January ahead of the gold expiration. And guess what? Same pattern. So they have discovered a pattern of what I would call highly manipulative trading. And again, it's great that they spotted this, but what are we doing about it? Are we complaining about it? Did Sprott, Hemke, or anybody call up the CFTC, call the CME, and ask them why and how this happens? That's what I'd be curious to know. And if anybody has a vested interest, I would think Sprott does have a vested interest in finding this stuff out for sure. And if Sprott said, hey, listen, we're putting together a lobbying group, you want to be involved, I'll be the first one helping them out, trust me on this as well. So what's the point of today's post? Well, given what you just read, it certainly seems that we're onto something. Well, yeah, I believe you are, guys. You spotted a pattern here. I've been seeing these patterns for years, okay? I haven't been able to describe them as well as you have, or Ted Butler, but I've been watching these patterns for years. I know this stuff has been manipulated for years, decades I've been following this. The banks have found a new way to influence price ahead of front delivery month option and contract expirations. It seemingly works so well now that they're giving it a go in COMEX silver. Remember, folks, I told you I've noticed some strange patterns in COMEX as well. In the trading and the monkey hammering. Well, this may be it right here. Remember, March is not a delivery month for COMEX gold. However, it is a delivery month for silver. And the contract expires and goes off. Okay, so 2 things. Just like COMEX gold, the usual normal volume for COMEX silver is very low. The total volume is often less than 1,000 contracts per day. The surge on COMEX gold began on November 5th and January 7th, about 3 weeks before expirations. And here they're talking about the COMEX. And just like COMEX gold in November and January, the price of the March COMEX silver has been rallying through the periods of this surge, and they provide a nice little chart here. So what happens next? Well, given that we've seen the recently December 21st and February 22nd COMEX gold, I'd say the odds are pretty high that March COMEX silver contract is headed back to 2240 or so by the time the options expire and the contract goes off the board next week. That's kind of very telling. I'm curious if Hemke and Sprott are going to be right on the money. I'll be watching this for sure, and let's see what happens next week. Are we going to be heading back to 2240 with the March silver contract? Of course, it's possible that geopolitics will intervene and thwart this latest bank exercise in managing exercise. I like how they put exercise in managing prices. Mr. Hemke, Mr. Sprott, they're not exercising, managing anything. They are purely, simply monkey hammering and manipulative behavior that is not good for anybody that is not directly, if you're not the monkey hammerer, then you are the monkey hammered. Anyways, it's also possible that, as we wrote back in June, this is all nothing but coincidence. No, it's not coincidence. Please don't go there. Well, anyways, decent article by Sprott and Hemke. And again, I'd like to see these guys actually start trying to put together a lobbying group. They have the power and the ability to do it, and it'll be good for their business as well. All right. So what's my thoughts on this? Well, I would tell you to call up the CFTC, but you really can't get anybody there, and quite frankly, they're about useless as tits on a log. And tits are birds, folks. So please, they're not a bad thing to say, but they're really, the CFTC is about as worthless as these things, tits on a log. All right, they're either inept or they're complicit with the CME group as far as manipulation goes. I tried to give them a call, but again, they don't have an anonymous call line. I guess here, I'm going to leave this up. You guys want to pause this page and go call and harass them? I mean, in a good way, not harass them. Harass them as far as let them know you're sick of this manipulative behavior by big commercial short positions in the silver markets, and that they had better do something, otherwise, well, they have no credibility. But anyways, there's some numbers for you to call. Feel free to call them up and explain this to them, but good luck trying to get a recording. I went to look, but you know what? You know where you can call and get a recording on? You can call and leave your message with the CME group. Now, I know that's the casino themselves. They're the ones that are, allowing this manipulative behavior to happen. CFTC is the regulating agency that should be taking care of this, but aren't, because, again, they're either inept or they're involved with it. But CME Group, trust me, you start calling up their market regulation once a week, all of you, a bunch of you out there, and be polite and tell them that you're sick of this manipulation, you're tired of it, that the game is up for them pretty much. We all know what happens. We know that they allow it to happen. We know that they profit from it, that allowing these big commercial short positions to monkey hammer the price of silver down for no other reason than to drive the price down and make a money, rinse and repeat, do it over and over again. And this is manipulative, and it should be illegal behavior. Again, feel free to call them at this number, 312-341-7970. Make sure you're polite. Don't be rude. Don't be nasty. Just let them know the game is up. You're sick of it, and you know how this game is rigged. Just tell them you're tired of watching this. And again, make sure you just don't bring up conspiracy theories and get mad or start yelling at them or anything like that. Be very specific. Ask them why that these big commercial short positions in silver are consistently allowed to monkey hammer the prices downward. Keep it simple. Well, let's take a look. I saw this video the other day. Boy, man, this kind of nails it. I'm going to play this real quick for you, and let's see here. Give me 1 second. Oh, there's no sound on. I can't even tell you the sound, but more or less, watch this. Let's see here. Okay. Family Guy. I think that was a Family Guy or something like that. Anyway, I guess Putin's bluff worked because obviously nothing happened there. And he kind of just proved what we already knew already, is that, our administration is just simply using this for political purposes. And there's, again, starting a Cold War for political purposes, oh, that's so lame. All right, I got to get out of here. I don't even want to start talking about this anymore. I'm pretty much done with it. Let's see if there's anything in ZH to talk about. That's the article that we just read. And FDA, oh God, spare me. What else? All right, not too much to talk about here. I'm going to move along. This is all just very depressing stuff for now, and I guess you guys are tired of it as well. All right, that's it. Look at yesterday's video where I said exactly what I said would happen. Kind of nailed it. I'd like to thank everybody for watching yesterday's video, and let me take a look at some of the comments here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to kind of reduce that in size a little bit. Yeah, Chuck, you're right. We do, find a good local dealer. I know some of the local shops may charge as much, but have a talk with them. See if they're going to be more competitive. Tell them that you'll bring them all their business rather than ship it out of the state. And I'd like to thank all you folks for watching. Not too much to discuss on here on comments. I'd like to thank, I read every one of these folks. I just can't always comment on everyone. So stick to the generic rounds, bars, 1s, 5s, 10s. Great video. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. And I agree with you. Stick with the generic bars. They're the best deal out there. And don't you mean a seller's market? Yeah, I might have screwed up, said sellers instead of buyers, but you get the gist of it, Silver Fan. Thanks for watching as well. Accurate on warmongering. Thanks for the info. Again, wow, getting so many comments. It's getting harder and harder for me to answer these comments as well. All right, I think I'm going to close it with this. My theme for the year, which is think for yourself and always question authority, and question yourself often as well. Question whose narrative is in your mind. Sometimes you're going to discover that it's not your own. Well, that's it. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Call me anytime at 954-493-8811 between the hours of 10 and 4, Mondays through Fridays. We're brick and mortar, like I said, only, so we do not do any online sales. If you're viewing my video outside of South Florida, unfortunately, folks, can't do business with you unless you come to see me. We don't do any shipping as well. Old-fashioned, I know, brick and mortar, but maybe someday if I partner with the right people, I might do an online business. All right, that's it. And I recommend you find a good local dealer if you can't deal with me. And have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye now.